Family vacation, he couldn't get back. He's enjoying the Outer Banks. But he and I are very thankful to the committee for allowing us to continue to move forward with our department, move forward with future leaders of our department. It's very, very important to us, as you all know. So I'll say a few things I'll talk about Jimmy Mirabel first. And again, sorry I don't have it all memorized, but there's too much to say and I didn't have enough time to memorize it. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the family and friends, coworkers, fellow chiefs who are here to honor these guys. It's a big event for them. It's a big move in an officer's career to go from an officer or a detective to a sergeant. It's a very important role within the department. Very strict testing that we had. I don't know if it's the test that I give, but my passing rate is about 33%. I might be a little bit tough, so I'll have to see if I can rearrange that for the next time. But these guys did pass that along with 4 other candidates. I do have a great list of officers, again, for the future of this department. Jimmy Mirabel came to Springfield in February of 2005 after graduating from the Essex County Police Academy. In October of 2009, he was assigned to the Union County Prosecutor's Office Narcotics Task Force, and he also served in our Detective Bureau for several months. In April of 2012, he was reassigned again to the Detective Bureau as an investigator. In April of 2013, I assigned him to the Union County Emergency Response Team, otherwise known as USERT, which is a very select position to get to. It's something officers, I look at officers' abilities and their work history, et cetera, in order to assign an officer there. And he's still currently there. In June of 2014, I promoted Jimmy to the rank of detective, which is a little bit different from an investigator. An investigator is an assignment of a patrol officer who at some point will be put back to patrol. Jimmy was promoted to detective. In August of 2014, he became the Springfield Police Liaison for New Jersey State Police Special Operations Task Force, of which he's still involved and does very, very important confidential type investigations. His current responsibilities in the Detective Bureau are he's one of 2 detectives that are in control of all the evidence that is collected and processed by the department. He's assisting with the new bail reform procedures, which is something new in the state of New Jersey, which Chief knows is a pain in the butt for everybody. But it's something that there's a lot of work involved, and Jimmy is involved with that as well. He's also one of our firearms instructors. He had been a union delegate for several years, 5 years, I believe, which is something he had to give up, moving up to a supervisor role. As you saw, he was up here with his wife, Nikki, and his son, Paxton, and his family are here. I want to welcome them, and he has 2 brothers who are also in law enforcement. What did I leave out? Nothing, okay. Officer Westover. I'm not going to roast you. I pulled out the things that, I pulled out, I didn't bring the scroll. Officer Westover, he had several years of experience as a 911 dispatcher for Piscataway and Edison PDs before, and also an auxiliary officer with Edison for 3 years prior to being hired by Springfield in December of 2010. He was a graduate from the Somerset County Police Academy. He immediately showed an interest in DARE, along with one other officer, I think Officer Kuna. In 2011, Officer Westover, now Sergeant Westover, became a DARE instructor. In 2013, he became certified as a drug recognition expert. Having been one myself in years past, it's an extremely extensive course involving, I can't even begin to describe what it involves, but it's a lot of studying and a lot of knowledge to intake, and he has been recognized as an expert in that field. In 2016, I believe it was, he established Project Alert within our department, which is similar to DARE. We have been doing a DARE program We tried Project Alert, which is something that gets to more kids. We're very school-oriented in our department. We want to get involved with many of the kids as we can. And Project Alert brought us to different levels other than DARE does. And we're also still doing DARE as well. Again, Ryan had come to me, he had an interest in starting a police junior academy with our department. I had sent Ryan and, again, Officer Kuna to another local PD who had a program similar to that. They assisted there and got the knowledge and then came back with ideas of their own and started our own junior program here, which has been very successful over the past few years. I've got a list here. He's been our accreditation co-manager along with Sergeant Rachel, which is very important. We just passed our recertification for our accreditation a few weeks ago. He's represented Springfield at the Special Olympics. He's gone there as a Springfield officer assisting since 2013. Also a union executive board member. He's been the PBA president since 2014, which is something he also had to give up moving up to a supervisory role. I've had him assigned since May of 16 to the Special Services Unit, where he's worked alongside Sergeant Rachel doing accreditation, et cetera, which now he'll be coming back out of that into being a patrol sergeant, working nights. Too bad for that, but that's luck of the draw, and you're a junior sergeant. He was up here with his son Jack, and his dad and his family and friends are here. Again, law enforcement family. His dad had 30 years of law enforcement with the Township of Edison. He's got a brother in law enforcement and a sister here as well. I don't think I left anything out. If I did, sorry about that. I'm starting to sweat. I'm sure you are too, so I'll be quiet. Again, thank you for support. It's a big moment for these guys. It's been a while in the making, but we got to it, and here we are. So thank you for your patience. Thank you, guys.
We're going to continue. A few things I'd like to say. I had the pleasure of speaking to a remarkable young man, Anthony Chaffee. I'd like to take this opportunity to express our endless support to an outstanding athlete and resident, a graduate of Jonathan Dayton, where he excelled in football, track, and fields. Connection to his family, his state, and community kept him close to home for college. He spent 4 years at Rutgers, and Anthony is a second-generation Italian-American. His grandparents, Anthony and Santina, 18, migrated here from Naples for the American dream, where they planted their roots in Springfield and opened Chaffee's Deli, a family-owned and operated business now run by Anthony's father and uncle. Jerry Chaffee, his father, has always had a community's first persona, and his mom, Josephine, has been a teacher in town for 19 years. Growing up, witnessing his family's success attributed to his hard work, faith, so Anthony followed suit, developing a work ethic second to none. Following his career at Rutgers, Anthony earned a contract with the National Football League's Oakland Raiders, for whom he is now competing at training camp in Napa, California, alongside some of the most physically gifted athletes in the world. Anthony hopes to leverage his NFL career to advance causes in the community, including continuing his work with Special Olympics, mentoring local youth, and becoming more visible in his family's business. Anthony, best of luck. We're all rooting for you. To present the Certificate of Achievement. Be it known that the Township of Springfield hereby recognizes the unique talent, high level of dedication, and enduring discipline of Anthony Chaffee, and congratulates him on his remarkable football career with Jonathan Dayton High School, Rutgers University, and the NFL Oakland Raiders. Awesome.
They want the stores to do, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if should I face this way?
Yes, please.
Face out to the community. How you doing? I'm Joey Chiaffi. I'm Anthony's uncle. Obviously, he can't be here. He's out there in Napa training. And he wanted to FaceTime us and get up. I was like, that's a little too crazy, especially with his schedule. It's like pretty intense. So he wrote. He has a little note. What he sent to me. So first off, yes, this is from Anthony. First off, I have to say between the town signs. First off, between the town signs and the incredible rally yesterday, I'm at a total loss of words. The love and support was felt, and I will forever be grateful for it. When I was told about this proclamation, I was hit with a wave of emotion. My brain was flooded with great memories of my childhood and everything Springfield. My grandparents and dad came to this town in late 1980 to open up Chaffee's Deli, and right from the beginning, they were contributing to the community, whether it was taking care of fire, police, or EMS, or donating to various schools and or charities. I watched firsthand from my grandfather and my father as to how to be a part of and support your community. My mother, being a teacher here for almost 20 years, has also helped show me how important it is to always give back, because we all know teachers don't do it for the money. Springfield, you are my home. You will always be my home. I will continue to do my best on this newfound stage to be a proud ambassador to this great community, and will continue to give back to all the youth and or special needs children of Springfield. I am so grateful for this proclamation. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Giving God the glory, Anthony Chaffee.
Okay, I have one more certificate. So this certificate is also near and dear to one of our residents, Dr. Sanford Weiner, who's not here today. We have a friend of Sandy's who's coming up to receive this certificate. And I had the pleasure of meeting Sandy many years ago at the meetings, and I was coming up to them, and I believe we all remember him. Unfortunately, Sandy's health does not allow him to be here with us today, but I will personally deliver this to Sandy myself. So I like to present the certificate of appreciation. Let it be known that the Township of Springfield hereby recognizes Dr. Sanford Weiner with tremendous gratitude for over a decade of local government activism, regular attendance of meetings, and constant watchful vigilance on behalf of the residents of Township of Springfield.
Sandy would love to be here, but he's not able to. But he does love the town of Springfield. He does very few meetings, you all know. But I will deliver this person tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll appreciate it. And I want to thank the town committee for what they've done.
Thank you. Madam Clerk's getting emotional tonight. Okay, let's see. All right. We have Thursday Night Sounds, outdoor concerts still at the Town Hall from 6:30 to 9:30. We have one more date left, which will be the 24th. Also, I'd just like to announce that community garage sales will be September 9th and 10th, which is prior to bulk pickup. You can register online, springfield-nj.us. I added G. We're going to do this. Madam Clerk, if you can, at this time, actually, I'm going to pull Resolution 2017-10. If you can just read that resolution so we can adopt it.
This resolution is honoring the 50th anniversary of the Friends of the Springfield Free Public Library. Whereas Friends of the Springfield Free Public Library, a volunteer nonprofit organization with an executive board, was formed in 1967 by a group of concerned residents who understood the value of public libraries and mostly gave financial support to purchase books. And whereas newspaper accounts document that the organization was formed at the time.
Excuse me, you can't close both doors. Must leave one open. Thank you.
Whereas newspaper accounts document that the organization was formed at that time, at the time that the current public library was planning to be built for the growing community. And whereas Friends of the Springfield Free Public Library Organization was incorporated by New Jersey in August 1967 with the mission as follows. 1, to encourage public support for expanding programs. 2, to promote community awareness and use of the library. And 3, to supplement the library budget by giving financial support for children in adult educational and entertainment programs, and to provide literary and other resources that improve the function of the library, such as databases, museum passes, chair yoga, children's summer reading program resources. And whereas the Friends of the Springfield Free Public Library raises funds through individual donations, fundraising events, and membership dues, and has raised more than $400,000 since its inception. And whereas as technology revolutionizes our world, the Friends have made an effort to meet the evolving wishes of the library administration to meet the community's needs. And in 2017, they continue to have a conviction that good library services are important to everyone. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee that they extend its appreciation and thanks to the Friends of the Springfield Free Public Library for their 50 years of service to the residents of the Township of Springfield.
Thank you.
Motion?
Motion for resolution 2017-2010, read by the clerk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anybody from the Friends of the Library are here, please come up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Yeah, 2017. No, not 10.
Thank you. On behalf of all the current and past Friends members, we work very hard all year long to secure as much money as we can for the residents of our township and residents of other communities as well. If you haven't been in the library recently, please stop by on Thursday as we celebrate our 50th anniversary. We have 3 programs scheduled for the day. For more information, there was an article in the Patriot that gives times and details about our events. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
You guys, ladies, I just want to say thank you so much. I think you guys do such a tremendous job, and we have so many opportunities at the library as a mom and a teacher and having young kids. You guys do such a great job, and I just want to thank you for that. It's really good. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Library director, and I just want to express my congratulations so I want to personally thank them for all they do.
Thank you. We just have one more announcement before we take a break, Mr. Huber.
Oh. Sadly, Marsha Foreman, 92, of Springfield, New Jersey, passed away peacefully on August 13, 2007. Marsha was deeply involved in the Democratic Party. She's serving from 1990 to 1993 on the Springfield Township Committee, and as mayor of Springfield from 94 to 95. At that time, she was instrumental in developing of the Freedom Apartments, a disability low-income housing complex, and continued as an active member of the Freedmen. Marsha was an early promoter of the environmental awareness and started in Springfield the Environmental Commission. Marsha, I knew personally. She was a very giving person, very nice person. I mean, she gave all the time. She was always active in everything. Years ago, with the flowers and that around town, they used to have flowers on bridges and pots and that. That's what she wanted. That's what she started. But I think we should have a moment of silence just for Marsha, because she did devote a lot of time to Springfield.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Huber. At this time, we will take a,
I'm sorry, it's not on here, but can I remind people of the event on September 9th? Just because we have a big crowd?
Sure.
While you're all here, on September 9th, we're having a mental health first aid course at Chisholm, and if you haven't registered yet, there's still some space. You can reach out to either the Recreation Department or myself, Erica Dubois, through my Township Committee email, or you can find me. I'm all around town. You can hear me pretty much anywhere. And I can guide you into registration, but I think it's a really important course for people to take, and if you're interested, please join us. I'd like to get a big turnout, and hopefully I'll see some of you there, so thanks. Thank you.
okay. At this time, we'll take a 5-minute break.
she go?
Mr. Mardini?
Erica.
Okay.
I love 214, the title. Banner hanging.
All right, we're moving on. At this point, if anyone from the public would like to come up on agenda items only, please come forward, state your name, address, and be mindful of our 5-minute time limit. Agenda items only. Seeing none? We'll move on to report.
Oh, come on.
Are you coming up? Your name?
Janice Fisher, Manasquan, New Jersey, but I coordinate the Puppy Mill Awareness Campaign for a 1,200-member group across the state. Thank you. It's the Puppy Mill Awareness Campaign, and I'm here tonight. I think that Committeewoman Du Bois may have talked to the Humane Society of the United States, perhaps. We're spread thin tonight.
No, it was Jerry, I think Jerry brought it.
I apologize. So I'm here tonight, obviously, to support the pet store ordinance. As an advocate, I've worked with countless pet store customers who've been victims of unscrupulous pet stores, and I've worked on local, county, and statewide legislation having to do with pet stores. So for many years, these pet stores have refused to give their customers information about where their puppies are coming from. Transparency had to be legislated in 2015. It was strongly opposed by the pet store industry. And even last year, when the law took effect, 26 out of 29 pet stores had to be fined by the Division of Consumer Affairs because they still refused to comply with the law. That was issued in a press release. We have all that information. I wanted to say tonight, even though it's a first reading, that the pet store industry is going to tell you a municipal ordinance is not necessary. They're going to tell you that the state law in New Jersey is one of the toughest in the nation. But what they're not going to tell you is that the state has failed miserably in enforcing the most important aspect of this law, and that is where pet store puppies come from. Last year, my group, together with the Humane Society of the United States, did research of the breeders for every single pet store in New Jersey through the USDA database, and what we found was stunning. Even with the law in place, these pet stores were still sourcing puppies from inhumane breeding facilities with Animal Welfare Act violations. Their consumers, their customers would have cringed if they had seen these violations. I'm going to spare you reading them, but we know that we have all of the reports for each and every pet store, and we'd be happy to share them. So what's most important now is that even if the state were to begin to, or be more inclined to enforce this law, they can't. They're unable to do that now. And the reason is that the USDA on February 3rd, 2017, removed all of their inspection reports from their database. I don't know if you heard this when the new administration came in. So consequently, we can't even get a report through a FOIA request that's not completely redacted. They cited privacy concerns, despite the fact that for the last decade they've been providing this information to the public. So when the pet stores tell you that they have good breeder reports, I'd love to know where they're getting them from, because they can't get them through the USDA. So now we're back to no transparency. No ability to regulate or research or regulate, which I believe is problematic for a town that licenses a pet store that sells puppies and kittens. It promotes an inherent risk because the way we look at it is bad breeders equal sick puppies, and sick puppies and bad businesses often wreak havoc on a community. You may have heard in the last couple of years there were several towns, at least 8 towns, that had to deal with problematic pet stores. They were violating health codes, consumer fraud laws, and cruelty laws. They had to expend an exorbitant amount of time and taxpayer dollars to conduct multiple hearings, license revocation procedures, and court hearings. In fact, in East Hanover alone, I've spoken to their attorney often, those legal bills were in excess of $90,000. That was one of the Just Pup stores. So it begs the question to me, does a town really need a pet store that sells puppies and kittens when we have so many responsible, small-scale home breeders, reputable shelters, and rescue organizations from which we can obtain a pet? I wanted to mention just one other thing. You may or may not know that 107 towns so far have adopted these ordinances in New Jersey. Not one town has had a legal challenge, despite the first ordinance being adopted in 2012, which I was able to get in Point Pleasant. So, and across the nation, we did have 6 legal challenges, but they were all upheld by the courts. So that's good to know. I wanted to say something, not to sound too, I don't know what the word I want to use, but I saw a video just recently, and it was a woman, she's a rescuer. She pulled a dog from a puppy mill. This dog was dying, and the dog died in her arms, and she said, you know what, for some dogs, freedom looks different for some dogs. And I think it's a sad commentary today that the only hope for freedom for some of these dogs is death. And I don't mean to be melodramatic, but that is the truth. So I feel that Springfield has the power to make an impact on this cruelty. I think I'm respectfully asking that this continue to a second ordinance and that you adopt an ordinance. You'll be promoting, obviously, the humane care of companion animals, and certainly you'll be protecting taxpayer dollars, and in some way probably supporting taxpayer-funded shelters by encouraging adoption. So I just wanted to stop by tonight and try to get my point across. I have some packets with some information. Could I share them with the clerk? And
Yes.
so thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention, and I know I'm happy, and I think a few of us are as well. So
I just want to thank you for the information, and not only the monetary information, which is interesting, but just the impact it has on families, like to adopt animals that end up being sick. It's like a devastating effect, so that's also twofold. So
Right, and I mean, it doesn't even have to be adoption. There are very reputable breeders, small breeders, that breed responsibly. Yeah. So the pet store industry, again, will tell you, oh, it's only going to be, and I hate to brand the pit bulls, but that's what they say. It's going to be pit bulls in New Jersey only. That is not true. So I would like you to be aware of that, because by the second reading, I can guarantee you at least 2 pet stores will be contacting you. And I'm not going to name them. You'll know them. But know that they were some of the worst offenders, and I'll be happy to share their inspection reports.
Thank you.
All right, thank
you.
Where the story.
Okay, moving on to reports, finance.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the payroll and invoices for the period of 7/18 through 8/15 per the bill list dated August 11th, and that does include PO 17002564.
I second.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Okay, Committeewoman Budzinowski.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasallo.
Yes.
Committeewoman DuBois.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, approval of summer recreation personnel as submitted.
Second?
Roll call.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeewoman Budzinowski.
Yes.
Committeewoman DuBois.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasallo.
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis.
Yes. Budget status report, Mr. Quick's not here. Let's move on to Mr. Lieb. Adam, how are you? Recreation?
Good evening, everyone. It's hard to believe we have about just under 3 weeks left in our pool season, which has been the focus of so much of our efforts this summer. Some good numbers and some not so good numbers from the pool season so far, and there'll be more in September. But in the month of July, where we have complete information, our number of check-ins, which is the people who are actually walking through the door between members and guests, was down about 900 check-ins compared to last year. But you'll also recognize from this year, beyond our control, we had a handful in July of days when we had full closures of the pool and also partial closures due to the weather, mostly rain and thunderstorms. So this was kind of to be expected in the month of July, and again, we really could not control the rain. So some good numbers. One of the goals that we had last year was to increase the number of Springfield residents who were coming to the pool as guests. In the month of July, the non-resident guest pass percentage went down a few percentage points compared to last year, which means that the purchases of guest passes from non-residents compared to the total number of guest passes has gone down a bit. And other good numbers, we've already met or exceeded August and final membership numbers compared to last year, and we're already in mid-August with 3 more weeks to go. So some of our categories that you saw in the report, the family category, the family and caregiver category, some senior categories, really a majority of our categories we're already beyond where we were last year. So that's very good news, and I think more good news will come out of those numbers when we put together a final report on the summer. In August, we still have a senior citizen breakfast coming up at the pool this coming weekend, and then an end of summer luau celebration, as well as music for a few hours on Labor Day. So all of that information is posted on the website and also in the pool hallway. Also, as we begin to close the summer season, the plans are underway to really turn the building over to the contractor, assuming that he's going to start working immediately after Labor Day. So there'll be a lot of movement down at the pool and on the pool grounds between the building contractor, some winterization contractors, and we're going to try to do that just as quickly as possible so that the work can begin. On the recreation side of the report, I'm not going to list them all, but we have a ton of programs that we're currently registering kids and adults for, not only the end of the summer, but also going into the fall. There's also still a few programs left this summer if parents are looking for places for their kids to go between now and the start of school, including a Lego camp coming up, a healthy lunch class coming up in August, and I'll leave it at that. So there's still a few more things coming up over the summer. We're also right now enrolling our returning youth wing members. So last year we had over 300 6th through 12th graders who came to Chisholm after school and then also over the summer. So parents right now have the option of re-enrolling them online. They don't even have to come to our office. They can do that online from home or from the office. And then starting in another week or so, we'll have brand new members. So these are our rising 6th graders and new students to the district who could enroll for our after-school program. So all that information also is on our website and on Community Pass. For volunteer coaches in Springfield, we're hosting a Rutgers Safety Coach Clinic, which we do a few times a year. That's going to be Tuesday night, August 22nd at Chisholm. We've sent invitations out to hundreds of people who we've identified as new coaches who have not sat for the class yet. It's a 3-hour class, very worthwhile. It touches on a whole different number of topics related to coaching and managing practices and first aid. So the coaches can get in touch with us to RSVP. And finally, on the senior citizen side of my report, both the rec department and the senior citizen club just started soliciting new members for the club for their program year, which starts in September, as well as the recreation department's free fitness membership, which also begins in September. So a mailing went out, and for new senior citizens to Springfield, where people have not been involved before, we have all that information at Chisholm so they could get involved. And you know how packed our calendar is, so there's a lot for them to do. This month in particular, we do not stop even in the summer. We had a bus trip to the Cross Estate Gardens in Bernardsville a week or so ago. Whiteman Farms, also up there in Morris County. Tomorrow we're going down to Ocean Grove for walking on the beach and for lunch. And then we have a magician coming to Chisholm next week, and we're also going to the Great Falls in Patterson. So there's a lot to do. And finally, we are already registering seniors for a chartered bus trip to the Sands Casino in Pennsylvania, which is in October. So we're about half filled already, so we can continue to advertise that. Those are the highlights. If you have any questions, happy to take questions.
So I'm curious, the enrollment for the kids, Chisholm Youth Wing after-school program, it says that you started, you know, you have 28, and last year you finished with 319. So can people jump in and out of the program? Or, you know, can they sign up late? Or, you know, is it just once you sign up, that's it? Or how does that work?
We have enrollment throughout the entire year. We tried to do this last year during the entire month of August just to give parents a head start on, you know, knowing where their kids can be after school. I'm sure we'll wind up with well over 300 by the time the end of the academic year is over. So this just gives them a head start so we're not slammed on the first day of school.
I have one question that popped into my head. Something you said triggered an idea in my head. I know we have exercise equipment at Chisholm. That's for the seniors, correct?
Yes.
I know that a lot of the YMCAs and the JCCs have these specialized programs for 7th graders where they could have free gym memberships, but we don't have that in our townships. We don't have a YMCA or whatever. Would that be something we might be able to do for the 7th graders at Chisholm, or do the seniors use it at the time of day when the kids would be in there? Could that be something we can look at, possibly, or?
The Summit area YMCA does offer Springfield 7th graders an opportunity to get either discounted or free membership. I'm not entirely sure of the details. We help them advertise that, but I don't know how many Springfield students take them up on that offer.
Just because this is more in town. So would that be something we could maybe visit?
I mean, it's worth looking into. I mean, for right now, the exercise equipment is limited to the seniors based on the history of that equipment and the room being open during their hours. But I'll certainly look into it.
Okay, thank you.
If I may also add to that, I think it's a fantastic idea. Mr. Huber, Community Huber, will remember though, and just a word of caution, that when that wing was opened, it was promised to the seniors because they were very particular that nobody else infringe on their space. So, you know, we just have to, I think, walk delicately with that one and just keep that in mind, only because you don't want the room filled with angry seniors over children in their way.
Well, that's why I was wondering what the hours, like if they're there in the afternoon. I happened to notice at other facilities that 7th graders in particular, so I thought we don't have a facility in town that offers that, so that's the closest we would have to like a YMCA setting, so.
And it's a
just
beautiful facility to use.
Just a suggestion,
I know
if it
only
would work.
because I think Mr. Huber was.
For seniors.
Mr. Huber?
And I'm the senior here, so that's it.
No, only because the reason I said Mr. Huber remembers that commitment to them, and I just wanted to put that out there. I don't want you guys walking into, an angry mob.
I have a couple things.
I'm brave. I'm willing to talk to anybody.
I'd like you to get flyers approved by the school before the school opens, and to 6th graders to invite their parents to come and see the facility. Because a lot of parents think that this is a hangout and, you know, it's not that good for kids. I want the kids to realize, the parents to realize, this is for the kids. So if you can, within the next week, get it. I know the board, I don't know when the board meets and all that other stuff, but I want to get it to them as soon as possible and get it to them at the beginning of the school year.
So it's something like maybe an open house?
The open house, like for the parents and kids, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, it would be nice.
If it has to be 6 o'clock at night, I apologize, but it has to be 6 o'clock at night.
You're donating the donuts and coffee?
I'll buy donuts and coffee.
No, I think that will work.
The other thing I want is the fee at the pool. I think, and I could be wrong, do the residents pay, if I don't belong, do the residents pay the same as somebody from, say, Union as
On a guest pass?
on a guest pass?
No.
The guest pass fee for non-residents who are accompanied by a Springfield resident is much higher than a Springfield resident.
Okay, I thought it was the same. And is there an age, ages on that?
Yeah, for example, the guest pass, the one-day guest pass for a resident is $11. It's $16 for a non-resident, and the senior citizen starting age is 62.
Or what about for kids? If I bring just say I have one of my grandkids from out of town.
Kids under 4 are free. Kids over 4 are counted as the regular guest fee.
I think we should look at that. Because, you know, a couple people said, I think, I just want to look at that. Right now, I think that's all.
Adam, I have a question regarding the Chisholm Center. I know kids need to register and they have the cards. What's the procedure when they don't have their card with them? Because I think that's a little issue sometimes. They don't carry their credentials or ID. So what happens?
We've structured this program in a pretty strict way, just like with school IDs, that they're issued a photo ID from our office. We've invested in that equipment for their security and for their identification, and we give their first card free. If they forget their card, we do keep a list of kids, and we give them one pass to come in. If they're in our system, they can come in without a card, but after that, they either find their card or they purchase a new card. It's $5. It covers our cost, and we issue a new card. We scan them in every day. It's important. We see their picture. We log when they get there, and then we log when they leave. So for us, it's really important that we do that.
Is there any way we can possibly maybe consider changing them to like almost like the gym keys or something that you can put on like a keychain for these children? Like I know like the gym memberships or your ShopRite price, what you put on a little ring.
Can we punch a hole in the corner, maybe?
As a courtesy, we've punched a hole in some of the kids'
yeah.
cards. We'll do that for them if they ask. And also for the serial loss, the kids who lose them, they're really racking up the money, and it's such a waste. It's really a waste. The company that we use for this identification material could have another design that I can ask about.
Maybe that's a possibility we can look into. Yeah.
We could just microchip them.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about.
Vote for that.
Any complaints about the lights?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure, I haven't heard anything, that's why. I want to make sure.
They've been in operation for a few months, and we've gotten past a lot of the initial hiccups. Yeah. So within the past month, no concerns.
Okay. Adam, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Betcher, good evening.
Good evening. Excuse my voice, I seem to be losing it. I know last month we spoke about the fire alarm systems in the annex building and the library. Since then, the annex building has been upgraded, replacing the old style panel, and we switched from a landline to a cellular, which is just much more reliable. The library, I believe the director was going to meet with the board for approval to upgrade their system, and she was going to follow up with me afterwards, and I told her I would have that system upgraded with the approval of the board. Under my tree department, I just wanted to mention I've been receiving a lot of calls from residents who noticed an unusual amount of bark falling off trees in certain areas of town, and they were concerned that these trees were dying, mainly in like the Laurel section, Salter section, and the Irwin section. The trees are fine, and these are all sycamore trees, and they're having a growth spurt due to all the rain we're having, and so they're constantly shedding bark. So there's nothing wrong with the trees other than the mess that they're creating. So DPW has increased the sweeper in these areas just to keep up with the debris, and you'll see that go away shortly.
Are those town trees? Or?
Those are all town trees.
Okay.
And we have quite a few in those sections. So, and I know I've been over by the Salter section quite a few times.
Yeah,
So.
I have too.
Under my road work, as always, we're very active with repairs. Last month, we made repairs on Oakland Ave, Divins and Stiles, Newbrook Lane, Victory Road, and Dundar Road. And I'm also working with Sam. We're trying to locate a road that we can apply for a grant in town. We haven't found the one we want to apply for yet, but I'm working with Sam on that. Also, residents that have any concerns about road conditions should contact me at my office or email me at Public Works. I do get back to everybody. The mulch program seems to be moving forward. We had about 19 requests for deliveries over the last month. Residents can apply online. The mulch will be delivered within 48 hours of the order. And so far, I've received nothing but positive comments from residents on this program, not to mention it's really like a huge savings for me in my disposal area for all that debris. We just took delivery of a 2017 Packer truck, better known as a garbage truck. This is going to be replacing a 1999 18-year-old Packer. Public Works only has one Packer truck. This truck pretty much runs 12 months out of the year. It handles our entire vegetated waste program, part of our recycling program, and it's used every day during our leaf collection. We did do a little house cleaning over the last month. We went through our inventory of equipment, and along with the 99 Packer, we'll be listing this unused older equipment on GovDeals. Other than that, there's a list of some calls, overtime calls, if anybody has any questions on anything.
Any questions?
Yes, I have one. Okay, I'm glad you took care of the annex. Thank you. The only thing that I don't understand, and I've said this, I think to Mr. Shahadi, I've said it a few times, we own the library. And if you get the annex, you should get the library. Because, just say the library closed its doors today. I mean, there was no more library in Springfield. We would own that building. We should maintain it. So the fire alarm is our responsibility, not theirs, because they have a budget, which I know we give them money every year, by law. It's just that it doesn't sink into me why we don't maintain like the fire alarm, just for instance, the fire alarm. If we did Sam's building, I call it Sam's building. He's there most of the time.
We're naming it after you.
But, I mean, we did that building. Did that come out of his budget? No. So why should it come out of the library budget? I just don't understand. They have a budget, which we give them, and can they trim a little bit? Probably, or, you know, some. I'm not going to disagree with it. I have never seen their budget. I've never, you know, looked at it. But I really think that we have to think about upgrading the fire alarm, just say the fire alarm. Like the fire alarm is the thing that came to mind. But we have to maintain it because it's Springfield's building, not the library, the doors of the library, or whatever they are. I'm sorry, I forget, I'm bad. But I want to make sure we maintain it.
Well, actually, I am maintaining it, and I'm seeing.
I know you're maintaining it, but I mean like the fire alarm. Fire alarm's a big thing. Whatever it is, and I don't know how much it costs. You know, we'd have to put it probably in the budget next year if it came, whatever it is. But I want to make sure all the buildings are up to the best we have, because I don't want to make sure no one gets hurt in any building, and that's my biggest thing.
I would only offer that, Mr. Huber, I agree with you, and we're one team, one township at the end of the day, and absolutely. The libraries they're separately governed. They get a blank check from the township. You know, while they have a budget, they don't have a budget from within our own town budget. They have their own independent budget, their own auditors, their own insurance, their own everything. And so they're independently governed by their board. They have their own executive director. She doesn't report to the township like, you know, Mr. Mardini or Mr. Betcher or Mr. Seidel. Everybody reports to the director there, and they have their own board, and they oversee, they approve their bills, they approve their own budget. We give them a check in the amount of X dollars, nearly a minute, and then they divvy it up how they see fit. And within that budget, they have maintenance and buildings and grounds and all that. So, you know, certainly, you know, over the years, I think it's just been, you know, what's theirs and their management is not our management. So if their management approaches us on issues, and they have in the past with respect to plowing, with respect, I know at least when I was on the board of trustees in the years past, they've approached us with assistance with plowing, shoveling sidewalks, and we've tried to help them where possible.
I know
but again, it's, you know, their management has to come to us on some issues, request the assistance, and again, when it comes to the issues of liability, they have their own insurance as well. But I agree with you. We should help them to the extent possible. And
let me ask a question. Is it by law that that's the way it is? I'm not sure.
I'll defer to Mr. Johnson, but you know, from funding, yes, they get.
Funding, I know there's a
Yes.
amount we have to give them.
Yes.
But is it by law where they have their own board where they decide, well, I'm going to give Maria, you know, this, I'm going to give, you know, the mayor this? Because from what I thought in the town, we oversee every building, everybody in town. The mayor, you go there this year, right? You're on that committee.
Yes, I'm on the board with the library, and I'm also on their subcommittee, so it's exactly the same way.
I just want to keep, you know, granted, the fire alarm's old, whatever it is. I don't know when it was built, I guess. I don't even know when it was. But I want to bring everything up to date. If we have to, give them, I know we give them more than they ask, but then we have to. We've talked about that, you know, you've told me that. It's just that I want to make sure the building's up to standard and all that, and I want to make sure nothing, you know, falls through the cracks.
Doesn't it get, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I believe we just paid for the panel. We just paid for that fire panel. To upgrade the panel. We did, the town.
Yeah, but the panel is not the whole thing, it's the fire alarm itself. That's what Carlos said the last time.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think any panel was upgraded, because I've
I
been in
don't
the
know.
library for 8
Gotcha,
months.
was it Sam?
No.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
So is there a concern, Rich?
No.
I mean, I understand your concern in
Yeah.
general, but has there been something substantiated
no.
where we have,
But
I'm
like the
curious.
fire alarm, last time, from what I remember, and I'm old, so I'm old with me too. It's,
turned 21.
it doesn't, or it keeps on going off.
Yeah, it was
Like
in
false
our last
alarms or
meeting.
I saw
something.
those
Both
exchanges
panels.
back
Yeah.
and forth, there was an
And
issue with.
I just want to get it up to where it stops this, it stops that, and get it to where the fire department doesn't have to worry about it, the ATMs don't have to worry about it, the police department doesn't have to worry about it, and we don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Where it's, especially because, all right, kids during the day. Now I have a new grandson, my daughter takes her over there for read time or some kind of storybook time. Mother Goose, that's it, Mother Goose time. But the kids are in there all day long, and I want to make sure that we are.
So is it,
So
is the
I look-
panel not, or has been?
So I think the confusion is there's the HVAC panel and then there's the fire alarm panel. And I think
Well,
what
they're two
Committeewoman Bujanowski was referring to was the panels related to the HVAC. That's what Sam had addressed at some point last year. The fire alarm panel has not been addressed, but again, they have their own purchasing system as well. We don't deal with their purchasing. If they want to go out and they're a director and they want to purchase that, we're, again, happy to lend them the physical assistance of and expertise of Sam and Rob and Carlo. But, you know, they purchase it, they go through their accounting procedures and purchasing and all that, and we'll, again, we're happy to help.
I just want to get that, I want to get you together and get that taken care of. I mean, I know, Rob, you took care of, bring a gentleman over there. That's right, guy. Bring a gentleman over there.
The director keeps me in the loop on things that are going on there, if she needs assistance. I have not, I don't recall, I mean, Dale's Hill, but you haven't sent me an email about the fire alarm panel there, so.
I'm hoping to next week after we have the
Right.
August board meeting.
So it hasn't been brought to,
Okay.
you know, our attention how they want to handle it, and when they want to handle it, well, we're happy to do it, Mr. Huber.
Okay.
We will.
You call
And
me
I know
Rich.
that,
You call
you
me
know,
Rich.
we do, you know, I want people aware too, that we do give them a healthy sum of money. So I believe it's $85,000 a month. So they do, you know, they do have a budget, and again, we've exceeded that, you know, time and again, so.
Okay.
But we will look into that.
Yeah, Dale, at our next meeting, make sure we'll put that on our agenda, okay? Because we're meeting next Wednesday. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay, Mr. Mardini, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good.
Since we're talking about the library, let me start my report with the library. I know Mr. Huber sent an email on August 4th. He was concerned about the temperature in certain parts of the library, especially with having the new HVAC system installed. And I think I sent an email to Mr. Huber and everybody else.
You said it was, and I checked with Dale, and Dale said it was working properly. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
And I just want to explain the issue here. The issue is we have numerous power outages in the area and voltage fluctuation in that line that services the library. We don't know why, but whenever that happens, even with the voltage issue, the new sophisticated controllers that were installed with the new HVAC system, they shut themselves off to protect themselves. And every time they shut themselves off, they won't go back on until we go physically and turn them back on, because the system wanted to make sure that the power is back and adequate and the problem is resolved. Otherwise, those controllers can get burnt, and they're very expensive. So we're working with JCP&L to see if we can fix this problem. And I'm hoping that, that this issue will disappear very soon, once we have an idea what is causing the problem.
Did we get, and I don't mean to interrupt your report, I apologize, but do we get emergency generator for over there yet or no?
No, we do not have a generator. We had we applied for a grant through FEMA to install a generator for the library, Chisholm Community Center, and municipal building, but we didn't get the funding. We only get the funding to put one, and that's the one that's going at Chisholm, but we don't have one. So going back, hopefully by the next meeting, I'll have an answer to you, for you as far as why these power outages and issues happen, and hopefully we'll resolve this issue. But until then, we just have to go back, whenever there's a problem, Dale will let me know. I'll go and reset the units. I know now how to do it. I'll just reset the units, and then we have the system working.
Do you have a maintenance man by any chance? I mean, that maintains?
We have part-time maintenance, but during the hours that we're open, we do not have a maintenance person. Even if we have a maintenance person present, I don't know if he would have the training to do the type of switching.
It's a very simple,
Well, he would-
there's nothing to it. I can show.
See,
Yeah.
that would, and I don't mean to really decide, but this would take care of a big problem. Does he clean in the morning, or person clean in the morning? I'm sorry.
Excuse me, if I may just, Ms. Director, if you could just come up to one of these
I'm sorry.
microphones.
Just-
So it's on the
Oh,
record.
yeah.
and
I just want
mics
to
can-
bring it all up, and it's out in the open.
Yeah,
You gotta
right
push
there.
the button, show her how to do that. I don't know.
Thank you.
Sit down.
Okay.
Is your maintenance person there in the morning?
They're there, he is there before we open. We have somebody on the weekend to clean before we open, and we have somebody coming in at night who cleans the bathrooms.
All right, but if we have an outage, hopefully it's.
We have nobody to call
But
because,
the thing is, he's not gonna come in on a weekend, and I'm expecting to. I mean, I could come over because I only a couple bucks, but your maintenance people should be capable of going up and hitting a switch. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
where-
I'll be happy to show that.
It isn't that
person
hard,
how
'cause
to-
okay, but our maintenance people are not on call. We can't expect them to be around when they're not working in case our power goes out. They could be doing something else, they may not be around, they might have other jobs, which I know one of our maintenance people does have a day job.
Yeah, can I intervene here for 1 second? If your power's out on the weekend and the fire alarm's going off, doesn't the fire department come?
Yeah, well,
Okay,
that's.
wouldn't they shut it off?
No, because I have to go on the roof to do that.
Well, no,
No,
we're
there's
confusing
we're
the.
talking
also-
about two
okay.
separate
Yeah,
things.
this is about the air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
Oh,
The new
okay.
unit.
When we have a power surge, there were 3 HVAC units. 2 of them, units 1 and unit 3, go out. Unit 2, trying to compensate,
Right.
goes into overdrive. And I was told by the people when they installed the thermostat, we should not have more than a 4-degree temperature difference throughout the library.
4 to 5 degrees, correct.
And my concern is that on at least a couple of these occasions, we've had more like a 10, 11-degree disparity. I've told Sam about it. He's come over and checked it out, taken pictures of the thermostat to show to the people at AMCO. But it's a chronic problem. And during the summer, I don't think a week has gone by where we haven't had to call somebody because either it's blown out. We just can't function that way.
Power outage, the company, whatever, Amoco, whatever it is not gonna come and just inflict a switch, because they're gonna charge us. That is not warranty work, so I can't expect them to come. I can't expect Sam to come. I mean, if I call Rob Betchert and he calls one of his men in, that costs
Okay.
4 hours?
Minimum.
4 hours, 4 hours minimum. And that's the big thing, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, my problem is if I have maintenance people and they're not scheduled to be there on the weekend and they're down the
I thought
shore.
you said they did. I thought you said you have someone.
No, we have somebody who's in there from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. cleaning,
Okay.
okay? But then if we're open until 5 p.m. come September on Saturdays, we have nobody to call because
Madam Mayor, may I ask, Mr. Huber, Mr. Mardini, this thing, does it even require a maintenance man? What qualifications do you need to flip
You know
the
me,
switch?
I can
So
do it. I'm
can
not
the
a-
director do it, or anybody else that's on the staff of the
I
library?
I live,
I'm not going on the roof.
I
I
could
am
be on
not
call, I live
going
across
up
the
on the
street,
roof.
maybe trains to.
I'm sorry, one second.
No, apparently it's on the roof.
Well, we have to look at something, and see the schedule for the maintenance people.
I'm hoping that we are gonna have this
Mr.
problem
Mardini,
resolved
yes.
soon by
Yeah,
JCP&L, and we don't have to worry about this.
Okay.
I understand, I apologize.
Okay, follow up and see if we can resolve it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're working on it.
All right,
All right.
thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm not done yet.
No, that's okay. No, go ahead, continue.
Where you were.
Go ahead, continue.
The other issue which is important is the restoration work that is being done by the paving contractor for PSC&G. We received a notification last week that the restoration work would start this Monday, yesterday, which it did. I received an email, which I think I shared it with the committee, listing the first 4 days of work. And JCP&L has been very responsive in notifying the residents. I talk to them all the time. I told them we need to let the resident know at least 2 to 3 days in advance of which street is being worked on.
Yeah, you said
I'm sorry,
JCP&L.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
PSC&G. My apologies. They sent those door hangers last Thursday, and they distributed those to all residents impacted by the work that started yesterday and today and tomorrow, so the first 3 days. All these residents received those door hangers. They have contact information for the contractor with a phone number, so if there's a question or concern, they can call the contractor.
Sam,
Of course,
what
they
if-
can always call the township and ask us.
Okay.
Can I see the flyer, see what info's on there? Because I've been getting, I know people have had questions that I don't know if they're covered in that flyer.
Can I ask him just to briefly read the one for
Oh, okay.
everybody, just so
Yeah.
they know
There's
also?
multiple copies, right? Oh, no.
It's a front and back.
Front and back.
Okay, you want me to read?
Yeah.
We're working in your neighborhood. PSE&G has completed the gas main upgrades in your neighborhood. Now that the ground is settled, we're returning to restore the roads with permanent paving. Our goal is to complete the work with minimal impact to customers. Police will be directing traffic, and residents will be able to drive on the roads once paving is complete. You will have access to your driveway throughout the work. That's a big question people have had. If you have questions or would like a detailed explanation of the project, please call us directly at the phone number below and leave a message. For info on what streets will be impacted and timing, visit, and then they give a link, which is www.pseg.com/gaswork.
Right. So I did go to the website. The website does list the roads, but it doesn't give you any more information. So they don't have information as far as the timing and all that. So, which I'm working with. In fact, before the meeting, I talked to the rep from the gas company, and tomorrow I'll be talking to her more, and she will be updating me, hopefully daily, as to which street is being done, and when the residents can move their vehicles out of the driveway so that they have access to it.
Okay, and then in the interim, when you get that relation, can you relay it back to our business administrator to put it on our website so we
Sure.
have it there?
Absolutely,
I
will
think
do.
we got the high sign that those, I've not seen, people are saying that they're not getting the door hangers.
Yeah,
We have a citizen complaint.
um,
No,
I-
come on, to the mic.
I mean,
Yeah.
Since when is the change of order here?
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, let me just.
Let him finish,
Yeah.
and then we'll ask.
So I will, like I said, I'm working with them. They are very cooperative. They have always been, and we have good relationship with the gas company. And I think they are addressing all the residents' concerns. And again, any question residents have, my number is 973-912-2219. Call me, and I will be more than happy to
I'm going to put it on a
assist.
plane over town.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's what it is. I will be receiving an updated schedule. I have a list of all the roads that to be worked on, but I don't have timing and exact dates for those roads, which I will be getting, and we will be posting that.
And we'll ask, because I hear what a number of you in the public have said about the fact that they did not get those door hangers, or what, I mean, they may have been blown away,
Right.
it's rain, whatever the case may be. Personally, I'm skeptical. I'm more skeptical than Mr. Mardini is about it, because I think in 1 year or two, we had, either last year or 2 years ago, we had the same issue where they said they're going door to door, they're knocking, and some neighborhoods got that, some neighborhoods didn't. And I don't know how we can prove that they did. They're gonna swear by their employees. But if I send out 10 people and say, go knock on every door, How many of them are actually going to knock on every door? I'm a little skeptical about it.
Depends
but
what- I guess it depends what season it is.
I think
Yeah.
a good solution would be is when I do have the schedule, maybe we can do a robocall by streets, and this way people.
That's what I was gonna ask you about. Was a robocall?
We did not, and the reason we didn't is we really didn't have any information other than them saying, we're paving these roads, and that's that. We didn't know
Correct.
any more information from them either. And Sam is pressing them for a meeting to get, I mean, even to get to this point, just as a reminder, they were supposed to do this paving back in March or April, and then it got pushed to June,
Right.
to July, and now here we are in August. So, you know, they're very reluctant to give specifics, because when they give specifics and there's
And something
delays or
happens.
changes, then it's
Exactly.
everything, and then we're bombarding people with robocall after robocall after robocall if there's a change. So it's striking this balance between giving as much complete, accurate information and also not dealing, I mean, as you know, with road paving projects, any capital improvements, these changes can happen based on rain or anything. for that matter.
Temperamental governor.
Right, so they're reluctant to give us that information as well, and, you know, we're gonna press them and try to do our best with.
I just think if people did have these, that the questions I've been seeing over the past few days, they probably would have gone to call them first. It seems like maybe they're not received right, because
Well,
I know,
again-
for example, my sister was questioning because it's her street, and she's one, she would have called this in a heartbeat and not been asking had she.
Do me a
So-
favor, give that number out on that sheet, so people
Okay.
can call that number, and give my number out, also they can call me.
So it's 908-522-7425, and that's the number for PSE&G. And then, Sam, what's your number again?
973-912-2219.
973.
912.
912.
2219.
It's been a long day.
Feel free to give us a call.
Okay, so 973-912-2219, and you'll be able to reach Sam, and he's very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. The only other item, I know it's getting late, the generator at Chisholm, which we discussed earlier, that is going on schedule, and hopefully we will complete that project within a week.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody from the public have a question for our engineer department? Come forward, state your name.
Jerry
state your
Fernandez,
name
393
and
Hillside Avenue.
And remember of my 5
Neighborhood
minutes.
rally.
And my question here is, when they do their reports, I know in the past, the public was allowed to ask questions. Are we allowed to ask questions? I mean, is that the norm again, or no?
Sure.
Okay. Living on 393 Hillside, I can tell you my neighbors, who must still think I'm on the committee, came to my house screaming and yelling because these notices weren't on the doors, I could tell you, at least on Hillside. The other thing, too, is I did call that number, and we spoke to a very nice woman there who took my information and said they would call us back and never did. Because the thing with Hillside is, and the concern is, at least on Hillside where I am, you have the golf course on one side with no homes, and you have our side with homes. If they could tell us the side when they're doing our side, no one wants to put their cars in and out when there's blacktop right in front of your driveway going in and out that could maybe stay on your car and affect your driveway and stuff like that. At least that's what my neighbors are saying. I don't know if it would or not. Sam, you might know. But, I mean, at least if we knew they were doing that side on whatever day, we can move the cars. You know, just for whatever.
It's a short street, and they're gonna do the entire length of the street within 3 hours, so
One
they,
side?
yeah, both sides, so
All
they,
right,
yeah.
so
They're doing the whole
we'll just
street,
move-
what
But they're
curb to
doing it in
curb?
2 days though, right?
Are they? I
They
don't
have 2 days listed,
No.
Wednesday and Thursday for Hillside.
Yeah, the first day for milling, and the second day for
Second day for
paving,
the-
right. They are doing some roads curb to curb,
Well, I only got
and
5
some roads are curb to center line.
The other thing too is, I think you need to let people know that on Wentz, that is a project that we're doing
Thank you.
from the
I was
town
gonna mention that,
for-
yeah.
Well, I'll remind, for grant money that the town got, so people are asking in PSNG when they're doing Wentz, you know, put something up, I think, on the website or
Yeah.
something, let them know that that's our town project, we're doing that with grant money. And then I just, darn it, it's gonna come to me the minute I sit down.
And then you lose.
See, he screwed
You
me
got 30
up.
seconds left.
So, that part there, and look, our history with PSE&G, I have to agree, is not a good one. JC and P&L has been very informative. Look, I love that they're doing this project, I'm not complaining about it. My complaint is the communication on their level, because we know from the history, Rich, you know, that their communication skills aren't great. So whatever you can do, a robocall would be great. I could tell, I'm telling you that residents in that area are concerned, as you mentioned. I'm sure you're all getting phone calls, and that's all I want to say. If you can just,
Perfect.
don't count on that.
Okay.
I agree, about the robocall, I do agree with Zia about that, you know.
Okay.
If I
Thank
can
you.
just mention what he talked about, Wentz Avenue, because it is important. Wentz Avenue, the gas company did replace the main on that street, and they were supposed to pave curb line to center line. But it's a good thing that job took too long. In the meantime, I applied for a grant through the state, and I received money to do Wentz Avenue the entire length. So what I did, we are now doing the plans, we're going to go out to bid in about 2 weeks to mill and pave Wentz Avenue and do all the handicap ramps. And in lieu of that, PSC&G is paving 2 other streets for us.
Perfect.
So we worked that out with them.
Great, thank you, Mr. Mardini. Okay.
I just got one question for you. I'm a pain in the ass tonight.
You said it, I didn't.
All right, what about, in the library, the ceilings with the leaks and all that around, it's dripping? I'm asking because
Well, we did have a problem one time, and one of the drains was broken, and they fixed it. And there was another leak, and that was due to condensation. Again, that was because of the plenum system, which exists in the library, and the system, that library has a system where it doesn't have ductwork except in one area. The rest is all what's called a plenum. It's a space between the ceiling and the tiles, and that's where the air is, the cold air. And when the system wasn't functioning properly, the area where they have the ductwork, accumulated condensation was dripping. That will happen until this issue is fixed. And it's not major, but it is an issue, and it is going to be fixed once the issue of the turning off of the unit is fixed.
Okay.
This township committee is all going to be certified HVAC.
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep it very short from now on.
Okay, we're moving on to Fire Department. Chief Palumbo, I'm sorry you're not here. We will accept your report as submitted. Mr. Shahadi, you're on.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple things. First one, I do want to just report on grants. They are a responsibility of mine to keep on top of and to update you, and I want to thank the governing body. Back in March, you approved a consultant for grants, and I really have to say it was a wonderful decision that you guys made to hire them. We have received so far over $86,000 worth of money grants in just less than 5 months. We're awaiting a decision on nearly $2 million worth of grants. And we've got in progress almost $1.3 million worth of grant applications that a number of department heads are working on. And so, I think that is record-breaking for the township. We've already made up the cost of that consultant, and with the potential for more for us to get awarded, they'll have paid for themselves for several years. So I want to thank you for that, and I really have to say that the department heads all work very hard on this. And so that's all. If you want any more specifics on the grants, I'd be happy to share with you the monthly reports that I get from them. Mr. Mardini and I have a meeting with the DOT this Thursday, and with Mr. Gomes and Mr. Rodriguez, the developers of the large portion of Morris Avenue that's under redevelopment. And so that's good news. They've been working the DEP and the DOT, and we've been working with them collaboratively on that. It's moving well with the DEP for their approvals. And with the DOT, I'm optimistic about that meeting. Just want to let you know, I know people always say nothing's happening. Things are happening. They're just, again, not going to happen as quickly as possible, but that will allow them to be able to move the utility poles, create the bump outs envisioned in the plan, which will then allow them to do demolition on those buildings. So that's good news. We did an energy auction today for the municipal buildings, streets and lights, and I also included natural gas in that auction as well. And this, on the consent agenda for resolutions, you received a last-minute resolution, even though there was a placeholder on there. So I just want to see if you have any questions on that. But in short, what we're looking at, the auction results were fantastic, actually. And these are not
better than last time, right?
Well, yeah, these are not for the energy auction aggregation for all the residents. That one did not go well.
Yeah.
So you all agreed that we shouldn't pursue that. This one is for municipal buildings and grounds, pump stations, traffic, our street lights that we have to pay for, parking lot lights that we pay for, and for the natural gas. So that's, they went very well, and we're looking at a savings of almost $18,000 a year in electric costs, a year for 3 years.
Good.
And then on natural gas, I won't recommend a change only because the savings is negligible. It's only about $600 a year, and while the savings is savings, we're locking ourselves in for 3 years. And I don't think that the way futures are looking and how natural gas is fluctuating so heavily, that we should lock ourselves in at a rate that we can't forecast for 2 or 3 years. With the electric, it's indisputable that we're going to get a good savings over the average of 3 years. The one difference that I would recommend, and I won't know that until tomorrow, and I apologize, is we're also doing analysis on how much it would cost us to purchase renewable energy rather than right now the lowest bidder was no renewable energy. It was 0% renewable energy. Like I said, savings of almost $18,000. There's a premium for renewable energy. We can't put solar on our buildings right now, but we can buy the electricity produced by solar farms, et cetera. And so doing that, we'll pay a premium of about $5,000. So our savings won't be as high, but we can boast about the fact that we're doing good for the environment. We are still going to save money, and we can go back and apply to Sustainable Jersey and get some points, almost 10 points at least, towards our recertification and next level certification by meeting some of their actions. So working with the green team on that, and that's all I've got to report on the energy auction, unless anybody has any questions.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a pre-con meeting for the pool, right, Mr. Mardini? That's Thursday. That's next week. Next week. So there's a resolution on the agenda to award the contract. If you have any questions now, or if you want to discuss it before the resolution is voted on, and you want to pull it from the consent just so we can have a discussion about how the bids went, certainly happy to do so. But we have a low bidder. That's the contract that's on the agenda for tonight. There was a spread of about all the bidders about what? We had 7 bids?
8 bids.
8 bids.
Yeah.
7 of them were between the 2.4 to 2.7 range, and the lowest bidder was at about 2.1, and there were some options. So we could talk about that more in detail if you want later. I want to commend Mr. Betcher on Mr. Betcher and Mr. Herbert on their work on the downtown as well. We've been doing regular walkthroughs for zoning violations, for beautification projects. There's big things that you can do, but there's also little things that you can do that I think make an impact. And Mr. Betcher and Mr. Herbert have been diligent in that, getting the building property owners to power wash their buildings, do some refacing, landscaping. Around General Green, you'll see that that's been completely revamped, mulched. The garbage cans are all now uniform, strategically placed. We're looking at the signage over there, and so I want to give credit to them. And if anybody has suggestions on things that they see down there, please let me know, and we'll get to it as quickly as possible.
There's a noticeable difference.
Absolutely.
It looks very
Yeah.
nice, very nice.
I've heard so many residents say that it really is just looking really great. So
Great, great
I know you've
feedback.
done a lot of good work there.
Monday, solar eclipse.
Yep.
Partial solar eclipse. Mr. Lieb has, Mr. Huber actually contacted us about what we can do for the camp and the children at the camp with respect to one, safety and the solar eclipse. We don't want them staring at the sun and burning their eyes out. So we purchased solar eclipse glasses. They're certified.
For when?
For Monday.
There's no pool camp Monday.
Oh,
that's the
I
extended
don't know.
camp.
Is there something?
Sorry.
I don't know what it is.
About 40 campers.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we have solar eclipse glasses for the 40 campers, the staff, the pool counselors, the about 50 or so residents who swim during the day between the hours of 1 and 4. And we're going to announce it to the public. Anybody, we'll have leftover sunglasses, but limited quantities. So people are going to be encouraged to go to the pool. So the eclipse starts at 1 o'clock or so. It goes until 4 o'clock. We have 73% coverage. The peak is around 2:30 or so. So we're also working on getting a science teacher to come and teach the kids and adults about solar eclipse and all that. So I think it's exciting. Other towns are doing solar eclipse viewing parties and events. So come by the pool on Monday for that. And finally, There's an item specifically listed on the agenda about radios per OEM. Mr. Seidel, our OEM coordinator, is here. He put together a lot of work. This is the culmination. You all received another memo several months back on that. It's a major capital expense, but just want to see what your thoughts are on that for us to pursue this for next year. And if you have any questions, Coordinator Seidel's here.
Scott, I'm happy to see that that beautiful mobile unit that you and I saw at the National Night Out is not on this. That nice command center that you were eyeing that night. I actually told the guy to not let you in, just so you know. Yeah, it was beautiful. If anybody had the opportunity nationally to see the new Union County Command Center, their bus, it was. Thank God.
So it's a big price tag, but it's one that, as Mr. Seidel has pointed out, is critical to emergency for police, fire, first aid, OEM, auxiliary, and it's something that's going to be an inevitability. He's been working very hard, and Chief Palumbo have, on getting matching grants. This will also benefit our DPW, who's running on an old telephone can and string system. So they'll be getting the hand-me-downs, while the other departments will be operating at 21st century levels with interoperability with the state police, state homeland security, OEM, county, and other municipalities around the area. So we're looking at grants, matching grants. We're going to get some radios matched. We're going to get, we're looking at forfeiture funds from the police department to help chip in. And unless you have any questions.
Yeah, I believe we spoke. There's a matching grant for the fire department, so we're going to wind up utilizing that with them, correct?
The fire department's already doing that. This is the first aid squad who required this. The county would match them 1-for-1 because they dispatched. So we would get them in there to be about 11 radios.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay.
Thank
you.
Mayor, I think, Mayor?
The guy at the end has a question.
Oh, yes, Mr. Huber.
Okay, and I spoke to Mr. Ziad about this, and I don't know who is supposed to do it, Mr. Herbert or Sam. There's a house that was sold over by Redwood on the corner, has a pool. And we, 5 years ago, said we upped the fence height, or the qualifications for the fence, I should say. I shouldn't say fence height. I know we upped the qualification for the fence. Don't know the address. It's right by Mrs. Molman. But it's sold, and he didn't upgrade the fence. I don't know who, if the inspection of the house, when it happened, I didn't even think of it until somebody brought it to my attention. And I know it was for sale for a long time.
I can address that.
All right, just go, I just want to get over there, tell him he has to upgrade the fence, otherwise get rid of it.
He already did that. He sent a letter to the company that is maintaining the property, and hopefully we'll get that resoled.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Herbert did that already.
Yeah, Mr. Herbert did.
Not the owner, Mr. Herbert's already on that.
Because, I just want to make sure, because I don't want any.
Yeah, we'll follow up.
And is anybody in touch with Matt over at the pool about making sure that he's going to get out of there a day after, 2 days after the pool closes? Because, he's going to start construction. I don't want excuses that, oh, well, he was still here cleaning out.
We are going to invite him for the pre-construction meeting, so he's fully aware of what's happening.
The pre-con meeting is going to involve, we're going to have a pre-con meeting with the construction company, and we're also going to have an internal one with DPW, recreation, the pool, because it's going to require a team effort to get everything into cargo containers, storage containers, clear out the building, demo, we've got security equipment, we've got a bunch of things.
And then, I'd like a copy of the schedule, because I will be checking it every week.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're all good?
Thank
Yes?
you.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to minutes and reports.
I move to adopt the Township Committee regular and executive meeting minutes of May 23rd, 2017 as emailed.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions?
No, I think it was good.
Okay, we will accept municipal court report for July as submitted. We're going to move on to new business. We have no second readings. We have a first reading. Madam Clerk, can you please read the ordinance by title?
Ordinance 2017-12. This ordinance protects residents of the township who may purchase dogs or cats from a pet shop or other establishment, helps to prevent inhumane breeding conditions, and promotes community awareness of animal welfare.
I move ordinance 2017-12 is read by Madam Clerk.
I'll second.
And it'll be published with publication in the local source August 24th, 2017, with a final hearing on September 12th, 2017.
Okay. Is there a discussion?
No, I agree with it.
Anyone?
I mean, I got a call from one of the Humane Society people. I just told him, and I forgot the name, but it's, I think it was Fin and Feather was here for 40 years. And they never sold, as far as I know, they never sold any dogs or anything like that, right?
Yep. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Committeewoman Du Bois?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bujanowski?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vassallo?
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis?
Yes. Madam Clerk, can you please read the next ordinance by title?
Ordinance 2017-13. This ordinance amends the ordinance fixing the salaries of certain officers and the pay or compensation of certain position and employees within the Township of Springfield for the year 2017.
Madam Clerk, I move to introduce ordinance 2017-13 as read by the clerk, with publication in the local source August 24th, 2017, with a final hearing on September 12th, 2017.
I second.
Discussion?
No.
No questions? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Committeewoman Bujanowski?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vassallo?
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis?
Yes. Madam Clerk, can you please read the next ordinance by title?
Ordinance 2017-14. This bond ordinance is to amend in its entirety the bond ordinance number 2017-09 entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements in, by, and for the swimming pool utility of the township, to appropriate the sum of $140,000.
No, 1 million.
1,400,000, sorry, 1,400,000 to pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, which was adopted June 13th, 2017.
I move to introduce ordinance 2017-14 as read by Madam Clerk, with publication in the local source August 24th, 2017, with a final hearing on September 12th, 2017.
Second.
Discussion? Anybody have questions what the difference is?
I know what the difference is.
Okay, we're all good? Yes?
Yep.
All right, roll call, please.
Committeewoman Bujanowski?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vassallo?
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis?
Yes. Madam Clerk, can you please read the next resolution by title?
Yes. Ordinance 2017-15. This ordinance repeals Township of Springfield Ordinance Number 2016-29 and instructs the Township Clerk to have the public question previously authorized removed from the November 7th, 2017 general election ballot.
Madam Mayor, ordinance is read by the clerk, 2017-15, for publication in the local source of 24th, 2017, with final hearing on September 12th, 2017.
I second.
Discussion?
Yep.
Anybody? Okay, roll call, please.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bujanowski?
No.
Deputy Mayor Vassallo?
No.
Mayor Stampoulis?
Yes.
Passes on first reading.
Okay, let's adopt resolutions by consent agenda. If you have any objection to include any of these resolutions, please let me know, and I will pull them. 2017-202, 2017-203, 2017-204, 2017-205, 2017-206, 2017-207, 2017-208, 2017-209.
209 should just be pulled to public.
Okay, we'll pull 209.
What number is that?
209.
209.
2017-211, 2017-212, 2017-213, 2017-214, 2017-215, 2017-216, 2017-217, 2017218, 2017219, 2017220, 2017221, 2017222, 2027224, 2027225, and
Oh, wait a minute, Mr. 225.
225 we're pulling?
Yeah.
And I have a concern about 223. I'm just looking at, it was in our packet, and was this pulled previously? Because I'm.
Yes.
Okay, so can we talk about that tonight at all, or how does that?
Not if it's
Because I'm
pulled.
just
It's
looking
not in
at
it.
it.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda.
I'd like a motion to move that for a vote, please.
Can we place it on now to move it?
20172?
Because I'm
No.
just, I'm
No,
looking at it concerned.
no, I didn't place it on the agenda. It's not going on this agenda. 2017, 227.
I have a problem with 2017226 was also pulled. I'd like that to make a motion to move that to the floor for a vote, please.
I pulled them. I didn't put them on the agenda.
Ma'am, I'd like to make a motion.
They're not on the agenda, and they're not going on the agenda, so you can't pull them.
I'm not pulling it, I'm making a motion. I'd like Madam Clerk to read the resolution.
They're not on the agenda. They're not on the agenda, you can't read them.
Okay, the problem is, Madam Mayor, I'd like to, I spoke to John Johnson, the township attorney. He says that by law, we need a tax collector. In our form of government, we need a tax collector.
Excuse me, for clarification, if someone wants to add a resolution to the agenda, you can make a motion to add a resolution and take a vote on whether you want to add it or not.
Okay.
Okay? So,
And
in other words,
then,
go ahead. What were you saying?
who puts it on the agenda?
Well, it would be put on by the majority of the people who vote in the affirmative to put it on the agenda. The mayor has the right to control what goes on the agenda prior to the convening for a meeting with the mayor and township committee. Subsequent, if someone comes at the time of business and wants to insert or include a resolution, there can be a motion to include it. But then in order to get on the agenda, it has to be put on the agenda by a majority of the vote of the township committee. So if you want to say...
A simple majority? A simple majority?
Well, yeah, in this case, 3 out of 5.
Right. Right, because I'm concerned, because I just noticed this
Okay,
was.
well, what I would recommend is go through this and find out what resolutions you're going to consent to.
Right.
And then take a vote on them. And then if someone wants to make a motion to add something to the agenda, they can do it by making a motion.
Right.
And then you take a vote on that as to whether or not you want it placed on the agenda. Okay? So go through the remainder of the resolutions and find out just exactly what you're voting on the consent agenda.
Okay, are we discussing what we originally pulled? 209?
209, would you like?
209, Mr. Huber asked to be pulled.
Just going for, drive sober.
So are we going to adopt the other resolutions by consent first, or are we going to?
We can add this, I just wanted to know, I didn't have a chance to go through the pack, I gotta be honest with you.
Okay.
I didn't get it till tonight.
Okay.
I just want to know about this drive sober or get pulled over. Is there a big statewide crackdown? Is
Yes.
big
Yep.
statewide
Yes.
crackdown? Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
And the police department requested that we put this on for, I believe they get grant money.
yes, I ran right.
That's exactly what it's
I know.
for.
I just want to make sure. And the other one was 225 that I asked, and it was the health insurance. We went to the state, we reversed state health insurance, am I correct?
Correct.
And now we're private, I don't,
No, we still are. So what this one is, we had discussed this in executive session briefly, I don't know, was it March or so? March, at the March meeting. This memorializes the sentiment of the governing body from that meeting. And what it is, we've had a benefits consultant and a broker. That position has been filled by the same person, not for years. The same person every year has filled those two capacities. Because we're in the state health benefits plan, we've been in there, we haven't had the need, as of lately, for the benefits consultant. Because that benefits consultant was there for retiree reimbursement claims and any issues related to the changeover from when we were private to the state health benefits plan. That has since sort of resolved itself, and it's able to be handled in-house now. It's a manageable number, and we're looking to bring somebody in for HR work on a part-time basis. They would do that. So we don't need to spend the money on a benefits consultant, but we will maintain that person as our broker for shopping around the non-state health benefits plan work. And so that's what this is. Is that clear?
Yeah, no, it's clear to me, I just want to make sure. Okay, you can put it back down.
We're gonna, so 209 then and
Is-
225 are back
225
on.
will be added to
Yes.
the consent.
Yes.
What's
Okay.
still pulled?
Chairman, Madam Chairman, 217, 209, 211, 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220, 221, 222, 224, 225, and 227.
Right.
Did we do 203 and 204 and 205 too?
No, that would be after,
Okay.
they said.
We did them all.
All right?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Is there a motion?
Rich made the first.
Rich made the motion.
Committeeman
I second.
Huber? Okay. Okay, so a roll call on the consent agenda. Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
225.
Committeewoman Bujanowski?
Yes.
Committeewoman Dubois?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vassallo?
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the one that you were teaching, 226?
I don't know why this one was full.
Which one?
Okay,
Okay.
I make a motion to add Resolution 2017-223.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, so you have to vote on each one of the resolutions individually. The first one being 222, a motion has been...
223.
I'm sorry, 223, a motion has been made to add it to the agenda. Is there a second?
Maria
I'll
second.
second. I seconded already.
Okay.
This is my concern, so.
Now, you need a roll call to determine whether it's going to be added to the agenda or not.
Okay.
What about discussion?
Well, by adding it is
Just to add it.
you have to add it to.
Just to add, just to add. This is just to get it on the agenda. If you don't want it on the agenda, you vote against
Let me
it.
ask a question.
Yeah.
If, say, in a week or two, say this gets voted down, can the mayor and the business administrator get together and say, okay, we need emergency hiring for Erica to do the job of the tax collector? Can that happen?
You picked the wrong person.
Does
Well,
Erica have a
This is a
certification?
discussion.
You need the qualification.
Yeah,
That's
or,
the
so,
key.
or hire this certification, if they realize that this woman has to leave. I'm just saying, I'm asking.
Is this the reason why, this is why I was concerned, so I'm hoping we can add it to the agenda so we can discuss it.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. You add it to the agenda just to
Because
discuss
she's
it.
going out on, right, correct. So I
But you're right. So,
Right.
need a motion on whether you want to add it to the agenda.
We've
Okay,
moved
so-
it, we've seconded it.
Seconded, so I will do a roll call. Committeewoman Bujanowski?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vassallo?
Yes.
Committeewoman Dubois?
Yes, to discuss it.
Committeeman Huber?
No.
Mayor Stampoulis?
no.
Okay, it's
Well-
3-2. It gets placed on the agenda. Now, you can discuss it.
Okay,
Do you
I'll
want me
just,
to, do you want me to read it?
Yes.
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. for the record.
Resolution 2017-223. This resolution is to appoint Rachel Pompey as Deputy Tax Collector.
Okay.
yes, and I'll start the discussion. There's numerous items that are incorrect with this resolution. There is, for instance, there is no time of start. There is no time of finish. There is nothing that states that this is temporary. This states it's an appointment. If there were interviews that were being done for this deputy, that should have been notified to the committee. I had suggested to put this into close to be discussed.
Okay. Well, so if I understood you correctly, John, and I had spoken to Michael Quick, who's the CFO, and I asked him, is there anything we can do to not have to hire somebody for this position? And Michael Quick said to me that it is a law, if I'm not...
That you ultimately will need someone to fill that position.
Okay.
Am I going to sit here and tell you at 9 o'clock that you need someone at 9:01? No. But you will ultimately need someone with the proper credentials to sign the necessary reports before they are due to be forwarded to the state, et cetera, the county. So yes, ultimately you will have to make some type of a decision relative to that position. You don't have to make it tonight. I'm just talking about timing.
Right.
That's all.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
when our tax collector leaves, does she take her license with her on maternity leave? Does she take that with her, or is it hanging downstairs?
I think she does take it with, I mean, I've never been asked that question before. I mean, she's still on the payroll, she's on leave, so, I mean, technically speaking, I'd have to look into that and give you the proper
Wait,
answer.
can you just clarify what you mean by take, I mean, I have a college degree, I carry it with that on my resume.
No.
I mean, I'm confused.
This is a license,
No, this is the
state
difference
license
between a
that's issued by
certification, a
state.
license, and a
It's not a
degree.
degree.
Right, but do I carry that, do I carry a certification
It has
with
nothing to
me?
do with your college degree. This is a state license.
Well, I'm asking because I'm confused about the question. That's why I'm asking. So what do you mean by take it with you? I
When
honestly do
she's
not know
leaving
what
on
you meant.
maternity leave, does she take her license with her if she's on maternity leave?
Well, the thing is, for me, like, I know that, you know, one of the emails back and forth for us was, well, you know, if we need her to sign off on something, she
Excuse me,
can just sign off.
I don't mean to interrupt, I apologize.
And technically, you should be
I'm sorry.
racing her if we're discussing this.
I was gonna say, if
Yeah.
we're gonna start
So,
discussing, if we're gonna start discussing
A person,
the person that's
particular
presently-
individual.
the presently there, I don't think we should be talking about that person
In
in
public.
public.
I agree.
I agree.
We can discuss the position.
That's what I
think
meant.
we should remain on topic as far as the position.
Right. It's
fine.
The prospective employee is not an employee, so we don't need to write that employee.
Okay.
I know the mayor said, you know, she wants to discuss it in executive. It's still possible to discuss it in executive tonight. I just want to caution you all that there is a need by the end of the month for a decision. So if we wait until the next month, we are going to have a situation. That's all I'll say. If there's any other question, I mean, there is an effective date. I know, Mayor, you asked. There is an effective date in the resolution. It does state that in the be it resolved. You are correct in that there is no termination date. However, it does specify the number of hours per week, and that person would not be scheduled to work beyond, and the resolution can then be revoked when the tax collector does come back. She would understand the, you know, offer of employment, and I did provide a schedule for everybody of the number of hours per week we're talking about, and for all except for 2 weeks, we're talking about only 4 hours a week. But there is the that effective date, and you're right, there is no
There are a few
termination.
flaws. It needs to state that it's a temporary position, unless,
Okay.
you
No,
know,
we can-
she's
yeah, sure.
continuing.
We can-
And I discussed that with, I thought I sent you an email to, we were gonna discuss this either in a subcommittee or discuss it in an executive session, but we weren't gonna discuss it here.
No, I
And
mean,
that's why I
it's-
pulled it, because it's inaccurate.
Okay.
And it needs to be altered a little bit.
I mean, those amendments could be made. I think we could discuss it in executive tonight and certainly make the decisions.
I apologize, we didn't get to speak because I was away and I didn't know Diane's concerns, and now I hear both sides.
Yep.
Those are logical
Well, we
as
can,
well.
Can we,
It's our next
revise
meeting.
this,
John,
correct?
can we give permission to the mayor and the business administrator to rewrite this, whatever they have to do, temporary and all that other stuff, and to discuss it and agree on someone, or agree, and let them make the choice? Can we vote on that just to give it them the power? In other words, they have to agree on it.
Yeah.
We can agree on that. In other words, the mayor and the business administrator have to sit down and do that. Can we vote on that? I would vote on that, and I would vote to do that. This way you can do it.
I think you also make an amendment to, you know, whatever those changes are. We could discuss them in executive tonight. I think it's important that, you know, everybody be involved. I want to make sure that Mr. Johnson's there as well, for whatever legal issues, discuss in executive, address everybody's concerns, come out, make the amendments, and then vote on it as amended. We can make the amendments tonight. There's no
My concern is the time frame of this, that's all, and I noticed it was pulled, and we don't have time until the next meeting.
And this is the perfect example why next year, July and August, we'll have both meetings, because now it's 9 o'clock and we're still not done with this meeting because of the one meeting a month. And I'm not going to executive session tonight. So if you'd like to meet tomorrow, by all means, I'll make my schedule free.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Right,
Great.
so I propose to give the mayor and the business administrator to agree on.
To meet.
To meet.
Discuss
to
and
discuss
agree
this
upon.
Within the next 2 weeks, because that's the end of August. And agree on a person, or agree on the qualifications and all that other stuff. And the one thing, you have 20 hours here. I thought people were allowed to work 30 hours part-time. I don't know.
No, it's for less than 20 hours.
Less than 20.
So it's not 20, there's union rules on that, and the 20 is really there just for the 2 weeks for tax time. I don't know if I sent the schedule, I think I sent out the schedule to everybody, but it's, except for those 2 weeks around tax time, it's just 4 hours a week max for all the other weeks. And that's, again, as needed, it's really just for the signing of reports and validating of information.
All right, I propose that.
So therefore, do you want to amend the resolution?
The resolution to
authorize
mayor,
the BA and the mayor to meet and agree upon terms.
And they can hire who they think is
See fit.
qualified, whatever. Okay?
That's an amended motion, you have to vote on it.
Second?
Second.
Okay, now you call a vote.
Now we can vote.
You have to vote on the amendment before you vote on the actual resolution, so go ahead. So,
Well, I'm sorry, there wasn't even a motion on the resolution to amend it yet.
no, I'm talking about
I just made it.
to put it on the agenda. It's now on the agenda. Now he's saying he wants a motion to amend the actual physical resolution to include his comments, namely that it incorporates the mayor's about having an end date, whether it's temporary versus permanent and things like that, which he has said that it's the recommendation that the two of you meet and discuss those items, and essentially he is vesting the interest and the opportunity and the right in you to make those choices.
Okay, and
Am I correct?
That's great.
And we have a meeting in 2 weeks, so can we do it and have it put on the agenda for the 2 weeks?
Absolutely.
In the interim?
No, we have more than 2 weeks.
Not on tonight, September 12th.
It's
not.
September 12th. That's the problem. It's because, yeah, that's the issue, is you have a month in between meetings. And my concern is if there's an emergency.
We can have an emergency meeting?
Yeah, you can. You can.
As long as there's 48 notice, you can have an
You
emergency meeting?
can. You absolutely can if that's an issue.
All right,
That's
well, you
exactly
can discuss it, and then if you have an emergency
Absolutely.
meeting, call.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your prerogative. You can call an emergency meeting.
Fine, that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Erica seconded.
I did seconded it.
So this is the motion to amend the resolution.
Right.
And Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Committeewoman DuBois.
Yes, ma'am.
Committeewoman Bujanowski.
No.
Committeewoman Vasallo.
No.
Mayor Stampoulis.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
that motion stands.
Okay, I make a motion to add 2017-226. This, you know, we have made it known, and I think
Well,
that...
first we got to,
I don't know, first of all, I don't even know why this was pulled. I think that was an error, because there shouldn't be a
226?
question about 226.
I don't know, I was told to
Can't
pull
remember
it twice.
226. No, this is for your environmental one.
Yeah, I don't know
Site
why
assessment.
that might have just been an incorrect number. I don't know what that was.
Well, all right, so I have an email that told me to pull it.
I'm
Okay.
just checking the email, maybe I just wrote you the wrong number, and I
fine.
apologize,
That's
Madam
fine.
Clerk.
Okay.
So
So it-
I will read this resolution, and then we can have a motion on it. How's that?
Yes, that's right.
That's fine.
Okay. Resolution 2017-226, this resolution awards a professional services contract to Pannoni Associates, Inc. for providing Phase 1 environmental site assessment for the property located at the intersection on Morris Avenue and Church Mall, also known as Parking Lot C, and we do have a certificate of available funds.
I move to approve Resolution 2017-226.
I
Read by
second.
Madam Clerk.
I'll second it.
Okay, and that is a roll call. Jerry. Committeewoman Bujanowski?
Yes.
Committeewoman DuBois?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vasallo?
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis?
Yes.
That was to add. Did they vote?
Okay, moving on.
Is that to add it or to vote on it?
Well,
No,
we said
that
it
was
shouldn't have-
accidentally pulled.
Oh.
I
It was
think
accidentally
my
pulled.
original
Yeah, that
numbers
was
might have been.
accidentally
It was
pulled.
accidental.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional.
That wasn't intentional, and
So
I think the first print out of the 5 prints that we had might have had different numbers because of the placement
Yeah.
of the energy.
That makes sense.
And I apologize.
Could have.
Okay, moving on to discussion and action items.
There's a request from the Cannonball House to waive the permit fee in the amount of $1,744 for repairs to the Cannonball House.
Second.
Okay, that is a roll call. Committeewoman Goodjanowski.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Vassallo.
Yes.
Mayor Stampoulis.
Yes. Next.
I move to approve off-premise merchandise raffle license 1278 to Mikvah Yisrael of Springfield. Next page. Springfield Incorporated, drawing to be held. Is there something missing?
November 18th.
No, that's right.
November 18th, 2017.
At 339 Mountain Ave.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections?
No.
Any abstentions? Next.
I move, I'm really on tonight, huh? I move to approve the off-premise 50/50 raffle license 1279 to St. James Roman Catholic Church, drawing to be held on November 11th, 2017 at 41 South Springfield Avenue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? Okay, next is the discussion for the petition for traffic control speed bumps for Willents Ave and Adam Terrace. Who is discussing this?
I just want to say that I believe they did everything correctly and with the petition, don't you, Mr. Shahadi?
Yeah, they did.
So then it just goes to,
We would, so the next step for our ordinance would be to, obviously you guys can discuss it, but refer it to the police traffic officer for their analysis and recommendation back to you on how to proceed.
Okay, that's fine.
okay,
I have no problem.
okay.
Deputy
Do
Mayor.
we need to roll?
I don't think we
No,
do,
it's
because
just if you had a
I just put
discussion,
it
No.
on
she
so
got
that
correspondence
you would
and-
see it.
Discussion.
Yep.
I move to approve the request from JCP&L for acknowledgement letters regarding the tree trimming.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections?
No.
Any abstentions? Okay, we will accept all the correspondence. Anybody have any questions regarding them? Excuse me. Okay, any unfinished business? Okay, public comment. At this time, anybody from the public, please come forward on any governmental issue. Please state your name, your address, and be mindful of our 5-minute time limit.
Hello. I'm too short for this. But my name is Sylviane Grzybowski. I live at 22 Brook Street. I did work for the township for 9 years. I am a certified tax collector. And if anyone in this town needs to hang my license for free, I am willing to do so. I'm not looking for my job back. I own my own company right now. But if you need my license for free as a certified tax collector, I offer it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public?
This young lady.
Hi, state your name and address.
Beth Thomas, 41 Battle Hill Avenue. I'd like to talk about the pet store ordinance.
Sure.
I've been a resident of Springfield for over 10 years, and like many people, I'm an animal lover. I also love this town. I am thrilled that the township government has been working hard to revitalize our downtown, and I believe there could not be a more opportune time to pass the ordinance banning pet stores from selling puppies. Before becoming educated on the link between puppy mills and pet stores, if a person I knew wanted to buy a puppy from a store, I would not have encouraged it, but I wouldn't have stopped them. After reading about the horrific conditions at puppy mills and the recent removal of inspection reports from the USDA website, I now would not only try to stop someone, I'm attending my first Springfield council meeting and speaking out publicly about this issue. I know that there are a couple of pet store owners who have been coming out to council meetings to encourage towns to not pass this bill. They obviously have a financial stake here. This ordinance is not banning pet shops from opening. It is banning them from selling puppies and effectively keeping these mills in business. There are enough examples of successful pet shops that do not sell pets to prove that no one is going to lose their livelihood if they can't sell puppies. Anybody with a conscience could see why it is imperative to stop pet stores from selling dogs. I'm hoping Springfield does the right thing and joins the hundreds of other municipalities in New Jersey and across this country and passes this ordinance.
Thank you.
Excuse me, could I have your name again? I just didn't get it.
Beth Thomas.
And you got her address, ma'am?
41, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, is there a motion
Adjourn.
to adjourn?
Second.
Who made the second?
Whatever.
Erica, so that was Rich and Erica.